to address this because it's one more time. People, I got to talk about No Kings again. I know. No Kings was on Saturday, but this is going to be the last time I'm going to be bringing it up because I was bombarded with a lot of clips and videos of people's feelings getting hurt because Trump was sharing an AI video of him taking a morning dump on activists and organizers. Well, geez, people. People say mean things about Trump and his supporters, but you don't think they're not going to say anything mean right back? This is clownish behavior that you would see from an episode of Black Mirror. This is insane behavior that you would see from an old school Twilight Zone episode or maybe The Outer Limits. At this point, we're living in a clown show, and whether or not this is going to lead to the extinction of humanity or us becoming more dumbed down, I don't know. After doing this for 8 years, I feel so burnt out and jaded. Sometimes I feel like running into a brick wall, and maybe I'll forget it all. I'll forget all the things I've ever seen. But when I see Harry Sisson and my goodness, Don Lemon crying because or not crying, but I guess talking about the fact that they're sharing a video of Trump, flying a fighter jet, dropping feces on people. I mean, yeah, it's an AI meme. Sometimes the best thing you could do with Trump is ignore him. Sometimes the best thing you could do with bullies or with people is just ignore them. Don't talk about it. Ignore it all. Ignore it all. It doesn't matter anymore. Someday we'll all be dead, and this will all be irrelevant. In the big world of history and everybody that's lived since the ancient prehistoric times through antiquity and through the modern age and up until now, someday we'll be forgotten. But because the internet is here, things will remain. But even then, people forget. People forget. I know. Even in the internet era, people forget. So I know it's Don Lemon and Harry crying. Well, not crying, but lamenting. Why talk about it?
Yeah, I think this is actually bigger than me. I know that this video was attacking me, but there were also millions of Americans that were also displayed in that video, also getting attacked by the president of the United States. So he's attacking me in a petty, gross, disgusting way. But I think the more concerning story here is that, I think this is his genuine feelings toward peaceful protest, that if he could, he would attack in some way, shape, or form the people who dissent. So I don't think that this is actually it's just about me or like the gross attack. I think this is a broader, more concerning story surrounding the Trump.
All right, look, here, I'm going to rip this Band-Aid off. Here's what I think about the No Kings March protest. Yeah, all of you showed up, but then everyone went home. No Kings March protest. Look, the city of Chicago, at least as it stands statistically, has 2.2 million adults living in the city, and approximately, at least allegedly, 250,000 people showed up, at least in Chicago. Now, many might think that number is strong and impressive, but when you break it down, that's like 11%, 11.6% of the population. And that's assuming that they all are from the city, because, they could be from the suburbs, outlying counties, past Cook County, That was like 11.6%. All right, here's the thing, 250,000. That's a good bark. And that's all it is, a little bark, bark. But are you going to, did anybody show up on Sunday, Monday, today's Tuesday? If everyone's worried about a fascist taking over, you'd be protesting all the time, every time. You'd be in the streets every day. And I don't want to hear the excuse of, oh, no, this was a big event, but we'll do another one. What, sporadically, every 3 months, every 4 months? This was a waste of time. That's all it was. It was a glorified parade. Chicago strong? Hey, you want to show Chicago strong? Then go ahead and protest for the whole months. 2 months. Protest when it's -0 degrees outside. How's that sound? Protest in the middle of the night, at midnight. Protest, protest. Make it count. March, march, march. Do it. If you're really concerned about Donald Trump being a king, an emperor, a Führer, then you would need to be out there all the time. You'd have to make the sacrifice. Think about all the great protests and labor movements that existed before all the No Kings March protests. A lot of those protesters never made it home. Some of them maybe did not die, but they were, no one ever saw them again. There's a thing called sacrifice, right? And the whole idea of, everyone being afraid or being scared or upset that Donald Trump said something mean or posted a very cringe video of him flying a fighter jet, taking a dump on people. I mean, okay, that's to be expected. And everyone took the bait. Everyone took the bait on it. But I want to pull this up here.
Another thing too, Jesse, which I thought was really interesting, is initially in New York, that's where I was. You had thousands of people that were there. So yes, there was quite a large crowd. But then as soon as 1-2 hours passed by, the entire crowd completely dissipated, kind of like they were off the clock and they all just disappeared. It was really baffling to me because I have covered protests extensively for years at this point, and I have never seen a protest dissipate this fast.
That's interesting. Maybe they were on the clock. Usually these things kind of organically dissipate, but that is very strange.
Now, here's the thing. Were all those protesters paid? No. Was a protest paid and funded for? Yeah, probably so. Probably from Democrat donors, liberals, big-time people who didn't like Donald Trump. Now, was every single of the millions and millions of protesters paid? Oh, no. But the organizers were. Some of the people in leadership positions who told them the non-paid workers, get to work. Get to work, poor people. Tell all the other poor people to go home. We did the protest or the glorified parade for 2 hours. Go home. So yeah, only a small handful got paid. Just not the regular person. That's all. And with people with authoritative voices, says, okay, guys. Not like authoritative voices like, all right, go home. It's not like, okay, guys, great job with the protest. Put away your pink pussy hats and we'll come back and reorganize next month. Or either that, maybe during the spring when it's a lot warmer outside because it's going to get cold. And fascists sleep in the cold. They hibernate like bears, like grizzly bears. Did anyone find that fascinating? Going to reiterate this again. I don't recall Malcolm X or Dr. King telling people to protest for 2 hours and then go home. I mean, I recall them organizing their movements. And yes, things getting very scary to where, people's lives were at risk. Just saying for this No Kings, because can you have a little bit more? Caitlin Collins and CNN. Here we go. A little bit more of this.
Do you think it's making a point, Scott?
Well, yeah, he was making a
And
point.
what's the
I mean,
point?
why shouldn't the president?
Brett Hudgens, I saw your message and I had to highlight it. I received an Act Blue request to buy lunch to support No Kings on the street. See, now the thing is, I believe you, all right? Because we've all received cringe emails from Democrats and liberal groups, right? Especially from Act Blue. I believe you. But a part of me is like, no, they would never do anything that stupid. But then again, I've been proven wrong. So, Brett, if you didn't buy lunch, shame on you. Those people are out there protesting for 2 hours and they need a snack. And you didn't give them money. You didn't give Act Blue access to your debit and credit card. Shame. Shame on you. Shame on all of you. But hold on. Wait, you know what? I'm going to clip this in here because we want some good news, right? Gemini, y'all celebrate with me this morning. I just got a job. I've been out of work since January 2024. And see, Gemini, in just 1 second, you did more than all the people at the No Kings March protest. I'm proud of you. Well done. All right. We'll focus a little bit later on that during a break after this segment, okay? And we're going to keep that in here, right? So there you go. We're going to wind this back a little bit. So there you go. Some good news, and I better see some celebratory emojis in the chat right now. Right now.
Do you think it's making a point, Scott?
Well, yeah, he was making a
And
point.
what's the
I mean,
point?
why shouldn't the president? Why shouldn't the president use a made-up video to respond to a rally that has a made-up reason? I mean, it's a non-existent reason. We don't have a monarchy in this country. We have a presidency won by Donald Trump, who won the popular vote, who won the Electoral College, who won all the swing states. We have a democracy. People voted, and they elected the president, and the only thing they're mad about is that he is lawfully executing the office of the presidency and enforcing laws that have been on the books for a long time. So he made up a video. They made up a reason to have a rally, and I think it was kind of funny, to be honest with you.
Do you think it's making a point, Scott?
Precisely. I also want to pull this up here. Shout out to Colorado People's News, right? So I got a message from a organizer from Colorado People's News, and they told me about this. And have you ever held a government official accountable to the laws of their duties, right? And so 2% said yes, 98% said no. So it's the poll results from Denver's hypocritical No King Charade Parade shows apathy. Have you ever held a government official accountable to the laws of their duties. Colorado People's News attended No King's Charade Parade in Denver at the Colorado State Capitol on October 18th, 2025, to take a poll if attendees have ever held a government official accountable to the laws of their duties. The crowd was huge. There you go. But here's the thing. I want to read a little bit more into this. So the crowd was very large, possibly 30,000. Denver police and Colorado State Patrol blocked off traffic. And I want to make sure I get everyone is able to read this too, because I want to give a shout to Colorado People's News, right? Both these, in addition, there were politicians that protect oligarchs with crime in attendance. Both of these factors prove that this was not a protest and held no demands for anyone being protested against. The term No Kings has no substance to it. Absolutely. It was a deflection to have people focus on President Trump's theater in lieu of anything of substance or meaning, and certainly no demands to correct actions. There could have been many items to focus on an actual protest on. There could have been about multiple ICE abuses of laws and rights and demands to stop these abuses. But King Jared Polis was assisted them multiple times, including his violating laws he signed. That may have been why many were there, but it wasn't about that. It could have been about many things of substance that people have very legitimate complaint about, but it wasn't about any of that. It was about the imagery. No Kings. The previous No Kings in June was funded by Queen Christy Walton, who has never worked a day in her life. This one seemed to be funded by King George Soros, who hasn't worked in a few decades at the very least. The poll was taken to gauge the seriousness of people upset about either possibility of a king or thinking that a king is ruling over the country, state, or city currently. Obviously, the poll found great contradictions to the Charade Parade. It is a poll that will be continued at other political events of different persuasions and meeting people on the street in general. The crowd at No Kings was predominantly liberal Democrat, but conservatives, including a man with a tri-cornered hat who said he was from the original Tea Party in 2010. Independents, communists had a tent there, and many liberals were all polled. So here's the thing. Here's what I find fascinating, especially going further into this article. People showed up at these No Kings March protests, I think, in many ways as self-therapy, as a way for minds to connect, as a way for people to get affirmations and have a belief that this is going to do something. All the No Kings March protests did is help cause further divide and get us distracted of the fact that there is more wars going on, more instability, more corruption. When's those Epstein files going to be released? I mean, oops, I'm sorry. And so much more. So here's the thing about the poll guidelines, especially from the Colorado People's News. Shout out to them. The poll guidelines, in order to be counted as yes, the poll person could not include one of the following excuses. The poll had to name the statue of the official that was being held accountable to the laws of their duties. Most whom initially replied that they had held government official accountable to the laws of their duties recanted when asked to supply the statue and name of the official. So there you go. Others replied with the fact that voting is not holding anyone accountable. It's been quite obvious for at least 40 to 50 years we are simply recycling criminals at all levels and all offices. Out was the bad, and in was the bad only benefits the donors that bribe both parties. Absolutely. Other disqualifications included yelling at concrete. Some tried to pass their presence at No Kings as a form of holding Trump accountable, but he wasn't there. No duties were stated, and no demands were made. There was no accountability. In order to hold one to account, a standard of some sort, such as a law, must be used. No one cited any statutes there. So there you go. So as long as all arguments stayed contained to the issues that didn't include violating the law, the elitists will continue to win, and the rest will get crumbs at least. Examples that counted as a yes varied from the following: filing lawsuits, publishing on a government official's social media page reciting the law and demand to stop violating that law. Good luck telling politicians to do that. You got to go to town halls and you got to get in their face. So shout out to the Colorado People's News, because they did the job. They did the job, and I got to tell you, for the vast majority, people protesting at these events, at these glorified parades, you know what it shows me and should show all of you? That these politicians have never had their feet to the fire. And all what the No Kings March protest did is just become one big glorified circle jerk. It was a waste of time. Everybody wasted their time there. If you went there, I mean, okay, maybe, you felt good about yourself. I know some people went there just to see it, to believe it. But for the vast majority of people who did protest, where are you right now? If you're at work, fine. But if you really do think that this is a fascist state, or a dictatorship, they would not have allowed you to organize or protest. Because all what that had done, too, is give fuel to Trump and his supporters to make memes and mocking videos of all of you. This was a glorified parade, a stunt, a good therapy session, the greatest circle jerk for 2025. That's it. Brilliant job, politicians. Brilliant job, no kings. What are you? Nothing at this point. So, looking forward for the next No Kings. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it to believe it.